Welcome everyone to another video of Vinyl Addict. My name's Chili, and I have a series that I'm doing right now with the Rolling Stones as far as live vinyls and a collection of their vinyls and just reviewing one once a week or so. And the other artist I want to do is Prince. Prince has a lot of live material out there on vinyl, and let's explore these concerts because I think this is the thing that what people don't realize of his live performances are just, I think they're legendary, of course, but they're not really out spoken about as far as past post revolution or pre-revolution. But we are going to start off with Prince and the Revolution as being the first vinyl and concert that Prince has released here, or posthumous performance. And this is from the Purple Rain tour, and this concert has been released on VHS, in forms of VHS, back in the day, during during the year of Purple Rain. First was the film, of course, the album, and the tour. It was a magnificent year for him. He, rose to superstardom, and he won numerous Grammys, Academy Award, even, and American Music Awards, just to start it off. And this album sort of just kind of wraps everything up in a beautiful bow. And let's start with this, okay? Because this show is pretty much the last time, the first and last time that we hear this album, pretty much in its entirety. He plays, of course, lots of music in his later tours. He'll bring back, Let's Go Crazy, of course, and the hits. But this album was really for the new fans, because the whole album of Purple Rain is performed here, and that's Let's Go Crazy, Take Me With You, The Beautiful Ones, Computer Blue, Darling Nikki, Let's Go Crazy, When Doves Cry, I Would Die For You, Baby I'm a Star, and Purple Rain. Now they're played in complete beginning to end. There's no deviation from it, and this is one of those tours where it was such a pop show and carefully rehearsed and orchestrated that he just pretty much played that album for one thing, and the hits from 1999, which was the previous album, and that was the first time that he was pretty much on MTV, and he was gaining some pop notoriety, and people are starting to notice him as far as mainstream. And the four albums, or what he had, 4 albums prior to that, was pretty much, just for the hardcore Prince fan. They were just like, there was Controversy, Dirty Mind, Prince, and For You. Now, this album of this live performance, as far as that material from the first 4 albums, he touches on one, Do Me Baby, which is for 2 minutes long. Now, let me tell you what the set list is on this. It's Let's Go Crazy, Delirious from 1999. 1999, Little Red Corvette, Take Me With You. Next record, side B, Yankee Doodle, Do Me Baby, Irresistible Bitch, a B-side from a single from the 1999 era, Let's Pretend We're Married. Possessed, How Come You Don't Call Me Anymore, side C, Let's Pretend We're Married, International Lover from 1999, God, a B-side from Purple Rain, the song Purple Rain, Computer Blue, Darling Nikki, The Beautiful Ones, When Doves Cry, I Would Die For You, Baby I'm a Star, and last but not least, Purple Rain. Now, so what does he have here? He has B-sides from the 1999 singles. He has Irresistible Bitch from the Let's Pretend We're Married. It's the B-side of that. How Come You Don't Call Me Anymore, which is a B-side to the song 1999. And the only, for a real fan, hardcore fan, the song here is Possessed, which is not at the time, not on any album. It was in the film, but it was from the Purple Rain sessions, and it has been released on the deluxe edition on CD, where they put out all the B-sides and all these rarities, and Possessed is on there. But at the time when this came out, yes, it was background noise, background music in the film. It was a scene where Morris Day is at the club with Apollonia, and the waitress comes in and says, "Who's paying for this, Morris?" In the background is this song, Possessed, and Prince goes up on stage. He sees this. He goes up on stage and plays the Beautiful Ones, and so it was just pretty much background music of songs that he recorded, because he recorded a lot of material for Purple Rain. And so he does Possessed on here, which is cool. That was probably Irresistible Bitch for like the hardcore fans. Irresistible Bitch, Possessed, How Come You Don't Call Me Anymore, which he still played, on every tour pretty much. Because he goes into, later on, just like I guess starting here, he goes into his little piano medleys, which Prince has done. And then, the last tour before he passed was, he brought it back full circle, just him on the piano and vocal, microphone and piano tour. And so How Come You Don't Call Me Anymore, Let's Pretend We're Married, which is, it was a single, it was a third single or fourth single from 1999, but it wasn't really a successful one. And God was a B-side for Purple Rain, so he plays that. But not really, he doesn't go into like the For You Prince album, like I said, with the self-titled, with the hits I Want to Be Your Lover. He doesn't go into Dirty Mind. He plays a little of Do Me Baby, like 2 minutes of it. So this set is really for the pop fans of that time. So he's not really going into that older material. He's just pretty much playing the stuff on MTV, like the previous album, 1999, Little Red Corvette, Delirious, and Purple Rain. Now, it's good to hear these songs from the Purple Rain era, from that time with this band. For myself, as a big fan of Prince, it didn't really concern me if I would hear any of these songs again. Now, there's some, like Computer Blue, which would have been cool. He played it like, a couple of times here and there. He had the solo part, the Father song, which is in the middle of the piece. He may play that here sometimes, like on the piano or something like that during his little medleys, but that song has never been really performed as much as, say, I Would Die For You or Purple Rain, and those main staples. Let's Go Crazy. Take Me With You was something that he always played a lot, and the Beautiful Ones. But it was this tour, he didn't really explore the Dirty Mind era, like When You Were Mine, or I Want to Be Your Lover, or songs like Bambi, or just any of the older material. As the Prince shows later on would turn into just gigantic medleys, because he had so much material. The first time I saw Prince was on the Jam of the Year tour in 1996, and so he was encompassing all these different things, plus a new album that time. And he played I Would Die For You from this album, Purple Rain, of course, but not the whole thing. It turned into, because he had so much material, that this album wasn't the strong. It wasn't something that, like, he would play Purple Rain within the first half hour of the concert. It wasn't something that, this epic song anymore, where he would, hold it out to the very end. It was just something like, it just became like, okay, it's another song in this plethora of material, because he had other songs that were just, and the show was just, it was beyond, this album. It just became a Prince show of just encompassing everything even before this album. So, but he would still acknowledge this album, of course, but it wasn't really something that later on that he would just think like, okay, this is the thing that's gonna get the people to buy the tickets, because the people who pretty much was going to see Prince at the time when I saw him in '96 were people that followed him throughout, you know, even after this. It wasn't this album. I think like this was a stadium show, and pretty after that, you know, I mean, he can of course do stadiums. He's shown that in you know, Europe and everything, but in America, he pretty much he could sell out arenas and everything, of course. But it's not because based on the Purple Rain album. It was just based on just because he made great music even after Purple Rain and before Purple Rain. But then again, this show right here with this lineup is really cool because just by hearing these songs when they came out, because later on he changed it up and, you know, like use a horn section to substitute certain parts of you know, of the song, and to like on Let's Go Crazy, like in the Sign of the Times era, he would have, you know, horns in the background doing certain parts of the song, and it was just like this lineup here. They were so tight by the time they played on this concert here, and at this time, they already finished Around the World in a Day. That was already in, you know, the can, and they were starting to make Parade. So he was already 2 albums ahead. You know, he just wanted to get this one done, this tour, and go. The thing about this also is that this lineup, I think the only one that stayed was Dr. Fink. And the next tour, he started bringing back that old material. You know, he started bringing back stuff from Dirty Mind. He started bringing back, because all the hoopla and all that stuff was gone already. You know, the Purple Rain Mania and all that. A lot of the fans went, the pop fans that joined in on this show and this tour and this movie, they kind of stuck around for, you know, Around the World in a Day. But then, you know, it wasn't Purple Rain 2, and they moved on to other things. And so that's when the real good Prince shows, I felt, were coming, because he was incorporating all the older songs, like 17 Days, even From Here, a B-side, or from When Doves Cry to Head. You know, all these songs on the Love Sexy tour. He had Sister. He was bringing in all these old songs, and the real fans that stuck around were loving it. I was, you know, I would remember just seeing Love Sexy, because I got Love Sexy when it came out, and saw the tour on video and everything, and but that's why by the time I saw him on Jam of the Year tour, I mean, he was incorporating Diamonds and Pearls stuff and all this material that he's had, and just became one gigantic medley. His shows would just become one gigantic medley. And when he would go through these songs, it'd be like from Purple Rain, it would be like 2 minutes and everyone would go crazy. Then he'd go on to the next song, which is just more amazing and whatever, you know. So this is probably the last time you get to hear these songs in a completed form, as far as like from beginning to end, just like it was on the record. And for nostalgic reasons, that's cool. And the one thing I like about this, though, is that it sounds amazing. When I was watching this before on VHS as a kid, it was just like, it was, when sound is not really good and everything, I mean, just like watching a film, I mean, you could watch a film on just a regular TV, but then you get the, you know, the surround sound and the home theater setup. It sounds like it's real integral, and it's a real part of your viewing experience. And before watching this on VHS, and this, you know, the mix was just muddy. There was so much you couldn't comprehend. And now when you hear it, you could really feel the electricity of this band and how great they really were, you know, because I was really amazed by this, because I kept on listening to it, because at first I was just like, yeah, I mean, even after I got it on the Super Deluxe CD set with the B-sides and the rarities, and they had the DVD on there on CD, and would watch it. It was the same thing, but then after hearing this and just hearing it, like you could hear his guitar playing, you know, it's just like everything is just brought up to like, wow, they do sound really good, you know. It's because a bad mix could, you know, could suffer a lot. You could suffer a lot from a bad mix. But let's, this collection here is really cool. So let me just show you that as well. Some good pictures here. So here's this is the side 1 and side 2. Here's the second one here. And of course, Purple Rain. He's playing the White Cloud guitar. And it comes with this little booklet. And some liner notes here. A lot of pictures of him and the guitar. It seems like that's what it mainly is. Now, I did mention that, okay, yes, it seems very rehearsed, this show, and the set list seems to be kind of something that they just probably do every night, and then there's some room for looseness and everything. And I really found that during the song Possessed, because at the end, in the end credits of the show, it says that song Possessed and Irresistible Bitch are kind of like dedicated to James Brown. And that's the first time where you hear Prince, where I hear Prince as a ringleader, you know, and like a band leader, and he's stopping the band and they're paying attention to him, and, you know, and he'll say, on the one, and everyone will stop, and, you know, and start all over again, you know, which became something that he would do throughout the remaining of his live career, you know, just be that ringleader. And I first hear it there on that. I never really heard it that much on the 1999 tour or the Controversy tour, which is, that would be a great album if they would finally release that, The Second Coming, because I believe that I've seen the film footage of that on the Houston show. I mean, you could see that on YouTube, but I don't know if that is actually the same concert they recorded for the album, which they shelved, and that would have been great, you know. So this is the. I was kind of reluctant to buying this because, you know, I mean, I've seen it all the time, heard it all the time, and it always sounded like really bad and everything, but they really did a good job of cleaning this up, and you have a lot, you know, when you hear the band, and you can really hear the band, and how each member is so important, you know, because they all play a good part in this, and I mean, it was, I would say, one of the best bands that Prince has played with is The Revolution. And it was good to finally hear, you know, this show the way it was meant to be heard. So this is my first video on Prince live vinyl. And comment below, what did you think? Was this a, you know, good Prince live, or is it just like, this is just his pop era, you know, when, you know, everyone jumped on board for the Prince mania thing, the Purple Rain mania, just, you know, and then, or do you like later material? You think Prince was more or after, before and after Purple Rain. I mean, I got a newfound respect for this album. It was because, I mean, I love Prince's live performances and I love his albums way after this. I always felt like this became like an overrated album, and I was just like, heard it so much, and I'm just like, every time they mention Prince, it's like the Purple one, or, and he kind of like changed, we went beyond Purple Rain like years ago, and people would always refer him as the purple guy, and it's just like, how many colors has he gone through? He kind of said that in the Rave Unto the Joy Fantastic, Rave Into the Year 2000 video, where he just says, people still think it's 1984. The time was out here, this is like, or when he would say, if you came here to get your Purple Rain on, you came to the wrong place. It's just like everyone's kind of like pigeonholed Prince as Purple Rain, and but I still had to get it as someone who has to just complete my collection of Prince. So that's my video. Like, share, and comment below. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.